Hey y'all, today I am joined by the awesome Amy, and she is our resident artist at the store. She handles all those swatches that you see on the website. It's her. Isn't she amazing? Go ahead and comment below if you think she's amazing too. She's one of the few people with a more southern accent than I have, or so I am told.
I think we're starting to sound alike.
We did sound alike whenever I did the practice video. Anyway, today we're going to talk just a little bit about red inks. Now, she's going through some of the colors again, and you know, she's becoming an ink expert. Like, that's all I can say. Because she's gone through every single color of ink that we have, and oftentimes, multiple times. And so she started doing a little bit of experimenting with blogging for us to compare reds. And we're going to talk a little bit about what she was excited about and not excited about, right?
Yes. So,
My custom entrance.
if you were following along, you know, I did all the blue blacks. Did you just say that?
No.
Okay. So I did all the blue blacks, and we're done with those. And now we're moving on to the reds. I know some people wanted some different colors, but I'd already kind of planned out the reds. So I started doing that today. And the first ones I did were two Colorverse inks. I did Redshift and C Europa. And, you know, I love Colorverse inks. In the first and second seasons of Colorverse, I thought the inks I love how they perform, but the colors are just really heavy.
So tell me what you mean by heavy.
Just like like when I look at the colors, I feel heavy. Like I feel a heaviness inside when I am around Colorverse season 1 and season 2. I don't know.
Okay.
That's how I explain it.
I guess Amy's coined her own term, but I do understand some inks
It's just they're very dark, deep colors. I mean they're great. I love them, but it's a sense of heaviness. So
the first two you did were Redshift and C Europa.
Redshift
and we'll
and C Europa.
post this in an up close version so that you guys can see these two. So I noticed the Redshift has quite a bit different saturation level than the C Europa. Well, and we can do a close up for them too.
Okay.
So what do you think?
So at first, when I was
Redshift
first doing, when we first got in the Colorverse, and I was doing the initial swatches, you know, Redshift was like, meh, you know, it's okay. And same thing with C Europa. I was like, I don't love C Europa. And one of the other girls, Elizabeth, who's been on some videos, she really liked C Europa. And I was like, I don't love it. But today, after doing these two, I absolutely love C Europa. It is like a dusty rose, like a rose quartz color, and I've been really into that color lately. So
and it's a little bit.
It's drier. It's drier than the Redshift.
This one is still not dry, and it's been a while since you did it. I mean, we're doing these fresh.
The Redshift is much more vibrant, and it's got a lot of fuchsia.
Looks like there's going to be some sheen in there.
And there's a lot of sheen, yeah. It's like a copper sheen, don't you think? Like a copper.
Kind of is.
It's very unusual. It's gorgeous. It's like an azalea. That's what it reminds me of. Like the flower azalea.
So you've done it with the extra fine through the broad nibs.
Yeah.
And you can see it does make a big difference in which nib you use. Maybe that made a difference whenever you didn't like it before.
It may have.
In that fine nib, the color isn't for C Europa, for example. In a fine nib, you're going to get such a different color than you are in that broad nib. I mean, look at just the difference in the fine and the medium.
And I was using a dip pen nib before.
When you did them, okay. So that may
Yeah.
make a difference too, using the dip pen versus using the fountain pen nib.
These are block nibs I'm using, and then I'm also using just a Winsor & Newton watercolor brush
To get the effect at the bottom. Okay.
And to write Redshift and C Europa, I use
the Winsor & Newton.
the watercolor brush. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, my
And these are on
opinion has
Tumaway,
completely
too.
changed. Tumaway, yeah, paper.
Before you were using different paper, right?
Yes, I was using the coloring paper.
So that brings us to the point of different paper, different nib size, all make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Really does make a difference, especially with these next two. The next two that I did just now were Organics Studios, and I did 2 of their reds. Again, this is on Tomoe River paper and using the Bach nibs. When I initially did these 2, I used the col-o-ring, different paper, and these, you can really see the difference in these 2. Okay, on the col-o-ring paper. Today, on the Tomoe River paper,
Not so striking difference.
Yeah, they're a lot alike. I'm like,
so one is neon orange red, and one is navel scarlet. And when you start writing with them in the pen, the difference is there, but it's subtle. Versus when you wrote with it on the paper from
coloring,
then it did look quite different.
Yeah, they really do look different.
So I'd say navel scarlet is a little more red, which it should be. And this has, you can see, not a pinky orange, but a corally orange to it.
Totally a different color on the coloring paper versus the Tomoe River paper. It's totally
I guess, what we need to start doing too, which I've seen other reviewers do this, is we probably should try it on a standard paper as well, like Clairefontaine.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens. So.
And then the navel scarlet is going to have some sheen to it. It's got a little bit of a gold sheen.
Which is fun in the hearts.
Yeah, it kind of gives it like a vein effect, like gold veins in the heart. And then the neon orange red, it does not have sheen. It has a nice shading to it.
So let me see the shading. Oh, I can see. Okay. Especially when you're using in the nibs, I'd say in that medium nib, you can really see some shading going on.
And I love that broad nib. I love how that looks in that broad nib.
And even in the, when you did it with your Winsor & Newton brush,
yeah.
you could still see it. So it's interesting to see the differences when you this is crazy. I keep saying that, but the paper makes such a big difference, as well as the nib. But at least you stuck with one brand of nib. I know that some people probably will ask us about the Japanese nibs, and we can test those later as well. But we just went with Bach because it's an easy to switch out nib.
Yeah, because the Bach number 6 actually fits on a dip pen holder, and I was wasting so much time trying to do the nibs on the Lamy, and I would have to wash everything out every time, and it was a lot of work, and prep and washing out, and so it took up a lot of time. So we found out the Bach's number 6 nibs fit on a dip pen holder, which is fabulous because then I can just rinse it out in my little water bowl. So it saves a lot of time. Yeah. So even though I've done all of these inks, like 1,600 inks, sometimes I feel like, have I even done this one before?
I go through that. If I haven't looked at an ink for a while, it's somebody, I know what it was. The new Platinum Kumpu.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I've had people request matching inks for it. And I had to go back and look, and I thought, I forgot all about this ink. But with us having so many, it's easy to forget. So I went through the books, and kind of looked back and then remembered a few. Like there was a Kobe, I think it's number 13 or 16. That's a good match. And we found the Diamine Marine match. But I look at so many others that I forget about the kind of what I call the old standbys. And we kind of have to go back through it every so often with so many options.
Yeah.
So you guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this little time that we've taken to talk to you a little bit about reds. Now, this is only a couple of the reds that we have out of our collection. Did you count how many?
I didn't count, but I've got them all written down.
I would guess more than 100.
It's,
more than 100.
It's like, I have a Rhodey, I have them all written down in my Rhodey meeting notebook, and it's like 7 pages. So I don't really know what the best way is to do it. Today I've done it by brand.
Yes.
So, if anybody has any suggestions, feel free.
Comment, follow us. hang out with us anytime. We're going to try to go through these inks. It's going to take some time. Even if we did a review or talked about them 4 at a time every day, it would take a couple of years. But that's not going to happen. In the meantime, you guys can find us at a pen show. I will be attending with Elizabeth the DC Pen Show August 3rd through 5th, and we'll have some of our inks there. If there's an ink you'd like to see, please let us know in advance because we're starting the packing process now. And we will be in San Francisco at the end of August. I think it's the 24th through 26th or 7th. I can't remember, but it's that weekend. And then we'll be in Dallas at the end of September. And then the following weekend, we will be in Denver.
It's October.
I know. What's the first weekend? So Dallas is the last weekend in September, and Denver is the first weekend in October. I may not be very nice that following week because I'll be cranky. But that's okay. I just want shooting videos. I'll let everybody else do the videos. Anyway, if you have any inky questions for us, just like I said before in another video, shoot us an email. Give us a call. We're open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5. Find us here. Talk to us on through the, whatever this is, YouTube. Find us on Instagram or even on Twitter. We're a little bit of everywhere. Oh, we're on Facebook too. And you can find all of our ink swatches on the website, Vanness1938.com, and you can take a look at, I think she has about 90% of them on the website at this point. Diatramentas, we don't have all those up, but I think pretty much
I've done them all. It's just a matter of uploading them.
It's a matter of time. Mm-hmm. Time is not always our friend. Well, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little visit with us, and Amy and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.